Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for taking your seats. I'm John Adgate. As we start this afternoon session, we're going to talk about what's going on in EOH. I want to point out that it's the 5-year anniversary of the school. I'll note that EOH, I was the first full-time faculty member in the department as of January 1, 2010. So we have a little less of a legacy. There is a longer than, there's obviously some history before I got here, but right now where we stand is in a different place than the more established departments. But where we are now is, this is some fun facts and figures. When I was listening to for example, Jill Norris's talk this morning, it's clear to me that there's a very strong advantage to having written your self-study for your reaccreditation or department review. Ours is coming up in a couple of years, so I don't have as an impressive a list of facts and figures on number of papers we produced and all that. But what I can tell you is that we've got 16 faculty here at who are primary faculty either at UCD or CSU, and more than 50 research staff, affiliate, adjunct, and secondary faculty in a lot of different places. We have a very strong contribution from National Jewish. We have a number of different colleagues in the federal government that contribute to our education and outreach programs. And we've, I think, developed a very strong staff that I know all the faculty here at UCD rely on to get our work done, and we like to include them as part of our success. In terms of training programs, we have both the MPH and the Occupational Medicine Residency. We're right now working on trying to stand up a DRPH proposal. Right now we've got 5 PIs at UC Denver, and I actually think this total research number is a little off, but I'm going with the one that was in the slides that Tim put together. And beyond that, we have substantial contribution, in particular from the Center for Worker Health and Environment, which you're going to hear about some of their work during the specific talks coming up. But we've been blessed with substantial contributions from, for example, Pinnacle Assurance, amongst other things. So that's just a little snapshot of where the department is now. So these are the existing focus areas here in Aurora. The CSU program is they're in the process of revamping it. It had very few students in it. The numbers are starting to go up. And we're having discussions about, for example, these future potential training programs. This is a short list. There's more things that we're sort of talking about as a faculty, and it's really a question of as we develop resources and time to pursue new and additional areas. All right, so really what I want to talk about in just the couple minutes I've got remaining is not so much about today's talks, because obviously you're going to hear them by the people in the top half here, but I want to talk about other stuff that's going on, just to give you a snapshot. And this is in a way sort of an advertisement for other things that are going on in the department and things that we'll talk about at the Public Health Exchange, I think, in the future. Right now, Baron Serdar has a study in the field where she's looking at roofer exposure. And if you look in the upper left-hand corner, these are all photos that were taken this summer. They're out. She's an R21 to look at DNA damage and a number of different exposures in roofers. And the Nash is funding this. They were fortunate to get hooked up with a company down around Colorado Springs, where they've been most of the summer, doing field work at least a couple days a week. Some days it was 2, some weeks it was 2, some weeks it was 3 days a week. So they're collecting blood and urine samples and doing a bunch of different things. And she's working on biomarkers of DNA damage in particular. And it's a nice combination of sort of field-based work and lab-based work, and with a particular focus on mixtures. And mixtures are, sort of an interesting theme in environmental and occupational health, in terms of that's the future of a lot of the hazards that we need to control. A second piece of what's going on in the department is lab-based. It's Alison Bauer's work on polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, otherwise known as PAHs, and looking at cell signaling and tumorigenesis. So these are, primary toxins that we're all exposed to. If you've barbecued any time recently, you've got some in your system if you consumed charred things. But she's working on things like the exposures from second and third-hand smoke. And, please talk to her if you're interested in this particular topic, because she's been very focused on this cell signaling and tumorigenesis in her past work and in her work that she's developing. Both Allison and Barron started here in July, a little more than a year and a half ago. It's a little more than 2 years ago now. So they've been in the process of setting up their labs and doing their pilot work as they move forward. Lastly, one other thing that's been going on in the department is probably the thing that we're either famous, notorious for, depending on your perspective on this, is work looking at the impacts to human health and environment from natural gas development, in short, fracking. Although I tend not to use that word. I like to go with hydraulic fracturing because fracking is loaded. One of the when I first started here, Roxana Witter and a group of the rest of us worked on a health impact assessment on the western slope, and we've been able to leverage that into some new work that we're part of a large. This is a $12 million National Science Foundation funded sustainability research network. That has a whole group of people. A lot of them are in Boulder, but there's folks. If you look at the bottom of this, we've got UCAR and NREL and NOAA and CSU, School of Mines, University of Michigan. Strangely, they're in one of the boxes at the bottom there, and embedded tech. We're this box over the bottom in the lower right corner, looking at health impacts, but it's a large integrated effort. We just started last October, but we're looking at. We're using this socio-ecological systems analysis sort of as a organizing principle and doing a bunch of different things on air quality, water quantity, and health effects in and around the natural gas development process. And a lot of the work of the network is really about trying to evaluate the trade-offs in a systematic way, and I'm quite excited about it. It's been an interesting group of people to interact with. One of the things I've been doing, working a lot the last 6 months, is with a French ecologist, Patrick Beaugeron, on the SES, the socio-ecological systems analysis. So, in a sense, that's where we're going, and I want to invite our speakers to come up, and because we're going to move to the talks that they're going to give. I want to invite Lee Newman and Lily Tenney up. I'm going to give a talk on work site wellness.